Oh my God.
You were...
My heart was beating like... It was just too good.
Hello, Maral. How's it going?
Hello, Anna. This is such an interesting setup. We're like looking right into each other's eyes.
Exactly, right? You're not in the studio. The studio misses you. What are we...
I'm glad you are in there. Yeah, I keep doing things like suspicious things, and now I left the studio. Come on. But good excuse. I'm out of the country, okay?
Yes!
So I appreciate you working out with me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm in the Big
Apple, New York.
The city of lights. No, actually, it's not the city of lights, but it's the city that never sleeps.
The concrete jungle. Concrete jungle.
The concrete jungle.
Where dreams are made of.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's where I am, and I'm having an amazing time. I recommend everyone come to New York. I think all of us, everyone in the world, should live in New York.
Really? Oh, wow. It's already too populated.
So nice. Ugh. I know, 10 million, but the thing is, like, the problem I have is wherever I go, I want to live there. Like 2 months ago, I was in LA, and I was like, I should move here. But now New York has my heart. Oh, God. Okay, I'll talk about how it is, but everything here, most things here are perfect. Wow. Oh, my God. I don't even know what to say.
Okay,
but we'll get into it.
How is it so perfect? Like, everything is so good.
Oh, it's so alive. Also, I'm just like shouting, and then the headphones are blocking my voice, so I feel like I'm just shouting a lot. Maybe I'll step back from the microphone a little. So, New York. It's like hundreds of thousands of people in the street. That's what it feels like. They're just walking back and forth. Everyone looks so good. The women look so good. Everyone's so nicely dressed.
Wow.
And, like... happy, smiling, like the opposite of what you think New York would be is what it is.
Really? Oh my God.
Like,
I had no idea it was like that. I thought it was like a dark, dirty kind of city. Like everybody's in a rush, so cold, everybody's just, in their own world. But that's so good to hear.
Maybe that's winter how it's gonna be, but like summer, it's just everywhere you look, there's something going on. Restaurants, it's so like, it looks like Iran, it looks like France. It's just tiny restaurants with the lights. Everyone is out all night. Like, they never sleep. This is true. and
that's great.
Like rats. Okay, you know how many rats I've seen? A lot, like 100.
Oh, no. Wow.
But they're so cute. They're tiny animals. They're just scurrying around.
Are they so big as they say? Like,
no, they're like this much. Cute little rats. I don't know. But safe. At 3 a.m., I'm like walking back from a show. I'm wearing my crop top, cleavage.
Yes.
Nothing.
And what happened? Oh my God. The photo you sent me. Okay, this is crazy. Like, oh my God. You were...
my heart was beating like... It was just too good. Okay, and also before that, I sent you a message.
You have to tell the audience what was it about.
Okay, I will. So, I'm obsessed with this guy. Like, obsessed is not even the right word. Like, I love this guy. It's a comedian. And I went to New York to, like, go to his shows. That was the plan. I was like, I'll see him. Maybe I'll talk to him. Like, what do I say? Blah, blah, blah. So I go, and I have a ticket for, like, Wednesday. But then I find out on Tuesday he's doing another show. And me being a weirdo creep, I'm like, okay, I'll go to the Tuesday show and the Wednesday show. So I go stand in line, and they don't have any more tickets, of course, because I didn't buy tickets for it. Every show is packed. All the comedy shows, like, there's like 30 people who want to get in. So I'm one of those people standing around, and then they put my name down. And in the back of my head, I'm like, please, God, like, I really want to see him, like, walk in or out or something. And so, and I have my ebook with me because, like, I'm alone there. Everyone's talking to each other. I'm just reading my book. But anyway, put my name down, and then I walk 1 minute away from the show to like sit somewhere and read. And
in the street or something?
In the street. And there's a park. There was like a fucking park right there, the doors are locked. It says you're not allowed to come in unless you're accompanied by a child. So I couldn't go in the park. I was just in the street.
Wow.
Continue reading.
That's weird. Okay.
And then this story is like long and winding, but I'm getting to it. So this guy walks up to me and he's like, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. We start talking. And normally I just don't talk to strangers, of course.
Yeah.
But then this guy seems nice. He's like kind of big too. And like, he could be scary, but no, he was super nice. And then I asked what he's doing. He's a photographer, blah, blah, blah. We get into it. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? If this guy takes my photos, like, I will not be upset. That's great. So we get.
Was he a street photographer?
Yes. Yeah. And then he shows me his page. He was a street photographer. He was a serious street photographer. 1 million followers on TikTok. Like 300,000 on Instagram.
Wow.
And like we become friendly. Honestly, he was so nice. Everyone in New York is so nice. But I'll get back into that too. And then he's taking my photos, and the photos looks amazing. I'm gonna post one of them. And as we're talking, we're just like kind of flirting, like kind of having a good conversation. And then two people walk past us. Like, so we're in the street corner standing like this, and then a lady and a guy walk past us, and I just look at who it is. It's the comedian. It's Mark Norman. He walked like past me this far away we were, and I was like, my heart, like I'm sweating. And then this other guy is still talking, the photographer, Lucas, but like I almost can't hear anymore. I'm just like, and then I say Mark Norman walked by, and then Mark turned back. He's like, yeah, and then he kept walking. I guess like that was his apartment or something, but I'm just thinking, I literally walked away from the show so that like I would not be in the way. And then this guy, he could have walked from any street. He can walk from the street. And like in my head, I'm like, okay, now we're going to get married. Everything's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
But then we talked to Lucas, so nice. And then somehow I get tickets to the show. So even though it was full, I was the last person from the standby line to get in. So everything is like magical.
God. Yeah.
This has been like every night in New York or something magical happens. But so I get in, and the Comedy Cellar is this like, it's just the biggest comedy bar in the world. I feel like it's beautiful. It's so magical. They take your phone, put it in a bag, like you can't take pictures of anything. So I sit in, and then comedian after comedian, just amazing. Like everyone is so funny, and I'm seeing Mark, and I'm like, what is life? He's right there. He's so cute. And then as we come out of the show, he's sitting there again. He's just sitting outside taking pictures with everyone. And I saw him, so I'm like walking out and I see him, and I'm like, oh God, okay, I don't want to be the creep who like went to his Toronto show, saw him in the street, now he's here taking photos. So I like snuck past and went to the washroom downstairs. I was just like, okay, you know what? I don't need to talk to him. I don't know what to say. But then as soon as that's a mistake. As soon as I got to the last step, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? This might be your chance to like see him, talk to him, go up. And so I went up. I don't even know what I said. It was like a 30-second conversation. I was like, there's no one to take photos. I'm alone. Like, well, that's such a boring thing to say, but whatever. He is so nice. And he asked like, I said like, New York is so nice, whatever. And he's like, oh, you're not from here? And I just said, no, I'm not. And that's it. I didn't continue. And then we take the photo.
Blacked out. Oh my God.
I hate this. Fucking, I don't know what happened. And then he's like, so he was there with a friend, and he said, this is my friend. Probably like introduced his friend. I didn't even hear. Like I was just like, friend. But
he introduced his friend to you.
I know, he's so cool.
Did he introduce? Oh God. Did he introduce his friend to any other person there? I don't think so.
I don't fucking know, but it was just like, I gave no, I didn't even say hello friend or anything. And then the friend was like, I'll take your photo. I was like, thanks. And so we take the photo, and Mark does this thing where he puts like his hand over your shoulder and he points. So cute. But he doesn't like put it over. He just holds it out. And I was like, oh, Mark, you should have put my hand over my shoulder. It's just different. But anyway, so I come out. I really should have.
I thought, okay, yeah, because we talked about it just an hour before you were getting ready, like going to the show.
Yeah.
So I was like, go to a street or something, or go like near that. I bet like he has to come to the building, anyway.
Exactly.
So just go somewhere to see him. I bet you can see him there. And then you did. And then you sent me the photo the next day. Oh my God. I was just like, because before even you went to New York, I was talking to you on the car and you said that, what was it? God. That you had this huge crush on this guy. And I was like, okay, maybe if the podcast gets really big, we can have these guys on our shows and go meet them in New York. Or when we go to New York and have these trips around the world, whatever, we can have these... We can have like some interviews or like some appointments with these like really famous people and go meet them and have podcast interviews with them. And then it happened. Like, oh God.
It happened like 3 seconds later. We made it happen with our manifestation.
Yeah, you did. Oh, it's amazing.
We should still have him on the podcast though. Of course, like that 2-second conversation I had with him is not enough. But
when I saw the photo, I was like, you definitely told him about the fact that you have podcasts or that you have crush on him. Not the crush, but like talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, what the fuck? I should have. Literally, when I tell you my mind went blank, you don't even know. Like, it was so bad.
No, it's understandable. I'm even worse. Now I'm talking like that, but no, I would be just like so timid and awkward. No, you did great.
And the thing is, maybe it's because I didn't have it in my head that I was gonna meet him. Like, I was already I saw him in the street, I saw him at the show. There's no way I'm gonna get to talk to him. So maybe that's why. But it was.
You
still
even
so
dressed
nice.
up for him. You even like had the makeup and everything just for him, I think. No?
I mean, maybe.
In case you met him. In case you met him.
100 million %. That's true.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the next day, so guess what? The next day I had another ticket to his show. But in my head, I'm like, I really don't want to be the guy who is just always there. Like, it's so creepy. I came from Toronto. I saw you yesterday. I saw you in the street. Now I'm here. So I was just like, hoping that I don't get to talk to him again. and I didn't, which is very sad. But like, he just performed. Every show he did, he did so different. Like, you would think, because he's doing 5 million shows a day, you would think he would just do the same jokes. Each time it was so different.
Really? Oh my God.
And so every night I went to a comedy shows. This last Thursday I went to another one. Okay, every comedian is super famous. I have to get you hooked on these people. Literally, they're like $1 million famous, and it's just a random show, It's like a random Wednesday, Thursday night show. It's like 20 good comedians come. And then I go in, guess who performs again? Mark Norman. So this is my third time seeing him.
What? That's crazy.
It's so good. But I literally, I saw him so many times that now I feel, calm in my heart. I think I've had enough.
Wow.
You can never have enough, but so amazing.
Unbelievable.
Literally, I always think if you live in New York, you have to go to shows every night. Like, they're there. The best people are performing. Go to a Broadway show, comedy show, concert. And so that's kind of what I did these past few days. It was so nice.
It's incredible. I mean, do people that live in America always meet celebrities like that? I don't know. I have no idea.
Actually, the first day that I was here, there was a woman that I walked past. She was very tall. She had a short blonde haircut, and she looked exactly like Greta Gerwig from the back.
What?
And the song was
yeah. I saw that text you sent me. I may have seen Greta Gerwig. I was like, what?
Yeah, and she was smiling, she had the same smile. I saw her from the back, and then I just walked ahead. I didn't want to be the person who's like, are you Greta Gerwig? So I walked past, and then I searched up okay, where does Greta Gerwig live? And she lives in Manhattan. She lives there.
Oh no. Wow.
So it really could have been her. Yeah. It's so good.
After the Barbie, especially, she's just walking there like that. I
guess. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll throw it on to you before I...
Oh, hell no. Hell no. After this exciting trip to New York, mine is plain boring. I have nothing to say.
Boring.
I went to the Central Island I took one of those water taxis, this pirate one, and it was so cool because the guy that was driving it was an old man having this like beard that was so beautiful and this hat that had this feather on it. He was just like a pirate, like literally Jack Sparrow. And then, it was so cool. And then we went to the Central Island and we stayed there at night, like until it was totally dark. And it was so beautiful because there were some swans there. And I took some pictures. It was just so magnificent. Yeah.
Central Island, that's part of the Toronto Islands, is it? I feel like I've never been.
Yeah.
So you took a ferry.
No,
and then
ferry. Or a taxi. They called it a water taxi. So cool, yeah. But they just go there and there's a beach a little bit. You can stay there, sit. There's some, like, what is it called? You can, see the whole city, the scenery, all the tower and all that. Yeah, and there was actually a game this week. What was it? Baseball game, I think, in the stadium. So it was so crowded. Everybody was wearing blue and it was so cool. The city was flooded, like the streets and pavements were like just flooded with people wearing blue just coming from the stadium over there. It was so cool.
They go crazy there. Like,
know,
they're
right?
just honking their cars and dancing around just for a game. I don't get it, but it's so cool. Everyone's wearing Blue Jays.
It's kind of like, exactly. I don't know the obsession with baseball here, but it's kind of like the obsession we have for shows and you have for comedy, so...
That's true.
Fun. Yeah. So that was pretty much it. But yours was just so great. Like I can't even imagine. You say every night was just amazing, like a magical night.
I'm telling you, it's just like you walk into a random park in a street corner and you have the best time of your life. You know what I mean? So it's just been like so moving for me. And then people are so nice. Like the first night. Yeah. Again, the first night I'm at a show, it's sold out. Again, this keeps happening. But because there's just everyone's going to shows. And two women walk up to me, these like 60-year-old women. They're so like well dressed and everything. And they offer me a ticket. And so I get to watch with them, and then we're just talking after, and like I feel so in the know of New York now. I'm like talking to these two cool ladies. They were like about to invite me to their house to stay there. Like, how nice! I feel like that will never happen anywhere else. In Toronto, no. I've never talked to anyone in the street.
Exactly. Like, nobody talks to anybody here. I thought, people in Canada are very nice. Don't get me wrong. They're very kind. They're so nice. But, like, that's it. Like, they don't go beyond that.
Yeah, it's like
they don't go beyond their way, out of their way to talk to others or, like, I don't know.
Exactly. It's like it's the hellos, how are yous, like, thank you, excuse me. That's the 4 words.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, exactly.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's kind of good. Especially if you come from a country that is, like, everybody just meddles in your affairs and what you do. Yeah. So it's pretty refreshing to have nobody like think about you or like not think about it, but not talk about you or your life and like criticizes that. So it's pretty good. But I feel like American people are a little bit warmer. And you said actually you can differentiate between Canadians and Americans there in the city when you're walking.
Okay, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm making this up, but it's like the Canadians have the straight hair, the top and the jeans, and of course like the little backpack. And I feel like most of this town is tourists. Like if you see 100 people, 80 of them are tourists.
Especially at this time,
That's true.
Even when I went to downtown here, there were so many tourists here. So it's the time that's very hot to travel. Exactly.
That's true. I used to be like, oh, that's terrible. Why would you want to live in a city where most people are tourists? But now it doesn't even matter. I don't know. I was really bitter 2 years ago when I visited here. But now, okay, so
you were a tourist yourself.
Exactly. I've been a tourist each time. Fucking exactly. So how you can tell is the Toronto girls are like so clean and crispy, and they're usually wearing white, like whiter colors. They're wearing their clear white top, straight hair. And then the American girls, first of all, they have very much like more brown features, like they have the brown hair, like sometimes they have curly hair and all that, and which surprises you. But they're wearing shorts and sandals. Like if you wear sandals in New York, I feel like you're a tourist. And I mean, you're not a tourist.
How could you wear sandals in New York? It's so dirty, isn't it? Like how could
That's true.
It's not a beach that you're going.
You know what? They clean so much, okay? They clean like every street every morning. How is that possible? Like you would think. Last time I was here, I went to this area called Hell's Kitchen, and it was smelly. It was dirty. It was gross.
Was but that where... Okay, there is a TV show called Hell's Kitchen. Is that where it was recorded?
It has to be, I guess. That makes
Hell's
sense.
Kitchen. Oh, okay. So...
but this time I went to Upper West Side, Upper East Side, Lower East Side, East Village. So it was just lovely and beautiful. And yeah, so that's how you can tell. Another way you can tell is if somebody waits for a stop sign or like a stoplight. So nobody waits for the light.
You're
it could
kidding.
Be just a big street, like a 4-lane street. You see people start walking, and I'm like, do you not care about your life? What are you trying to do here?
What the hell? People here stop for the lights, even if it's like a street that no car goes by. Like
I know.
And if you pass by that street when it's like red, they would look at you like really criticize you. Oh,
yes.
What's going on? No
exactly.
way.
That's actually bad. Like they say people are in a rush here or whatever. The light takes 30 seconds. Like what kind of work are you going to do in 30 seconds? I don't believe you. God. But yeah, if you see like people waiting, you know they're tourists. And even now, like sometimes I'm like, I look around, okay, there's no cars, and I go. But other people don't look. They see a red light, cars are coming. They're just like, out of my way. This is my road. No, that's terrible. So that's how you can tell.
Wow, especially in New York. Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
That's bad. But
Big
they have
cultural difference.
Yes, this is the one thing that I can't get behind, like, because I'm trying to like find reasons not to move here, you know, because everything is so nice.
Yeah,
and that's one of them. There's a lot of things that are free to New Yorkers, like the museums and all that. It's just if you live in New York, you can come in. Meanwhile, tourists have to pay like 40, whatever. But this is the thing. Like, if imagine you get the transportation for like cheap here, why wouldn't you move? Just go live in the street. There's so many homeless people. I really want to. And not to jump ahead too much, but like the author we're talking about, Alexandre Dumas, he moved alone to Paris at 21 to pursue his dream. So why aren't we doing that, you know?
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm thinking. We have to travel. I love traveling myself. Like, my parents never liked it that much, even though they immigrated here, you know. But I just love traveling. Every chance I get at traveling, like, I just jump at it, you know.
Yes.
I want to take advantage of that. And especially, I don't want to go as a tourist to stay, like, for 2 weeks or like a month. I want to stay there for like 6 months in every country that I go to. And then I would be able to do many things. I would be able to learn the language. I would be able to learn the culture, like the actual culture and what's going on beneath the surface of the society and people. And it's just so fascinating to me. And I want to go to villages. I want to go to small towns. I don't want to just stay like in big cities, you know. When I'm traveling like that, if you want to learn about a culture, you have to go to smaller towns as well. It's not
That's very true.
Yeah.
Then do it. Anna, I'm watching you.
I need my passport.
That's true.
I need the passport. If I get it, I won't be staying, I'm sure. But yeah. Just 2 more years, I think. Yeah.
I will say, I feel like it's not that hard to like sneak your way into America and just stay here. Because when I passed the border, they're like, okay, what are you doing here? I'm traveling, visiting. You're alone. Yes. They check my trunk. I'm on my way. Like, why don't you just come live in your car for like 6 years? Who's gonna stop you?
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's so true. Especially if you're doing like, I don't know, some freelance digital work, something that doesn't require you to be present in a location. You can totally do it, I think.
That's so true.
You make me really want to go to New York now. It just sounds like a really good city.
And that's why I'm not coming back. Like, I was supposed to come back today
On
so
Friday,
we could record together.
Could you have made it really? I don't think so, no.
I think, if it would have been like a nightmare. If I left Thursday, I would like drive straight to the podcast
10
studio.
hours? Is it 10 hours drive?
Oh. 10 hours with no stop.
Yeah, if you stop. Oh my God. But no, it's so much better right now. How long do you think you're going to stay there?
I want to do 4 more days at least.
Oh, nice.
Or more. We'll see.
Stay as long as you want. You know, just have fun.
Yeah, and the libraries. Oh, Anna, you would have loved.
Yes.
It's so
The
nice.
libraries.
Like, some of the libraries are in churches. Like, they've turned a church into a library.
That's a good function. Okay.
Yeah. And like, it's got the stained glass windows and everything, but it's just tables and books. So cool.
Oh my God. Wow. It was so beautiful. It's really like dark academia and kind of like very aesthetically beautiful. Mm-hmm. And did you write anything?
I wrote for exactly 1.5 hours in this past 5 days. 7 days, I don't even know. But it's okay. I mean, it's not okay. But I'm thinking these next 4 days, like, I've visited a lot of places. So now I'm staying to like go to the library 8 hours a day. That's the plan.
Go there, but like you can even spend like 2 hours at the library. Just take advantage of that. You have the whole day to yourself, just like 1 hour, 2 hours. It's a beautiful library just to look at it.
Sure, something like that.
Yeah. There were
but God, so many museums. You know Juilliard School of the Arts? It's this famous acting school. Like, so many great actors went here, and it's right in the middle of the street, and there's like a high school for the arts and all that. And I know, like, you can say, the place that you live doesn't really matter. You can succeed anywhere. Mm-hmm. But if you're living in a place where the high school is for the arts and the Juilliard that all these good actors go to is like 2 minutes away from you, your chances are so much higher, I feel like.
Of course, yes.
So tell me,
so fun.
What else has been going on? How are you been feeling emotionally?
Emotionally, very good. I've been mostly reflecting, reading a lot, Alexandre Dumas. He is just so fascinating. I just love him. I finished the book Count of Monte Cristo finally. I bought the book a year ago. And I didn't read it until recently, like in spring of this year, which was like May or something like that. I started reading it, and I finished it just like a week ago, I think, like a few days ago. And it was just amazing. Such a beautiful book. What a masterpiece this is.
Yes, I agree with you. Thank you for showing me. It's just, you know what's so weird that I was not used to is that the book is called Count of Monte Cristo. It's almost never from his perspective. It's always people talking about him. Yeah. It's like, okay, now we're following this Albert guy. Now we're with Villefort, blah, blah, blah. But rarely are we like, okay, this is what Monty's thinking, Monty. This is what he's going to do. It's always, that's what people think about him. Yeah. That's how he walks into the room. It's this like, what's it called?
A
detached
spotlight.
point of view. Spotlight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's so true. I actually read it somewhere as well that if you want to like write a novel or a book and there's like the main character, every other character when they're talking to each other or doing something, it has to have something to do with the main character. Like every dialogue, every conversation has to have something to do with the main character. It has to mention the main character at least once or something. Mm-hmm. So especially like this book is so character driven. It's literally the name of the book is Count of Monte Cristo, so it's going to be about him. Every character also that is like every scene that is about other characters, it's somehow related to him as well. It's just so good. Very
somehow good. But like vaguely, there's like whole chapters that are all about some characters' misfortunes, and then at the end Monty's comes out. But it's interesting. A 50-hour audiobook.
Did you listen to all of it? Did you finish it, by the way?
Yeah, but audiobook is not comparable. I'm like walking in the street listening, like two things distract me, and then suddenly I'm back into the book, It's not the same as you reading it, of course, but still. The thing is, it's such good writing disguised in this action, adventure, romance. Yes. So you never feel like you're doing work reading it. It's just always so exciting.
It is very exciting, yes. I can really say that after years and years, this is the book that got me back to reading again, like reading fiction again. I don't know, it's just so exciting. It kind of makes me think of the books that I was reading when I was really younger, when I was a teenager, because it has adventure to it and lots of great lessons. And now that I'm like a little bit older, I can get the messages of the book a lot better, of course. And it's just so much more interesting. The character of Monte Cristo, many times in the book, he compares himself to God, and other characters say that he is like a god. And there's always this discussion of Count of Monte Cristo, this Edmond Dantes, and God. I don't know. Because, like, and you as a reader also get a sense that he knows everything. He's everywhere. This character is everywhere. He knows everything. He has control over anything. It's kind of like makes you think, kind of. And makes you really love the character. You know that anything that is happening, he's behind it. You know that he knows everything. You know that he's not going to die or anything will happen to him because he's just, I don't know. There's just picture to him.
Yeah, it's such a mythical character that he created. Did you read this, that a lot of what he wrote was inspired by his dad?
Yes, exactly. Oh
so
my
cool.
God, yes.
His dad.
Yeah, his dad did work for Napoleon as well. He was one of the Napoleon's generals. So he had all these stories. But the thing is, when he was young, when Alexandre was young, he lost his dad. So I don't think he actually saw his dad a lot.
Yeah.
Most of these stories that he knows of his dad were told by his mom. And did you have any idea that this guy was actually like mixed? He was a mix? No, you didn't know that?
I had no clue. And then apparently it was also in the Django Unchained movie. I guess when I watched that, I didn't know Alexandre Dumas, so it just went right over my head.
Yeah.
But when you find out, you think, how did he find so much success? That they were so discriminatory back then. And also, how was his dad a general? I'm actually confused. This is like 300 years ago. It's like the height of slavery.
Exactly, I know, right? It's just so crazy. That was like the last picture I had of him in my mind. There's actually a picture of him. Have you seen it?
Yes.
So I was really shocked. And the fact that he made it like this big and this huge, and he had this lavish lifestyle, even like. But I do think that there was somewhere told that he did have blue eyes and kind of like he was light skinned. So I don't think there was that many like discrimination against him, but they made really fun of him for his hair or something like that, which is like really fucked up, obviously. But the fact that he did it at that time in France, like
crazy. I
200
actually
years ago.
Lost.
Wow. I kind of feel like artists, mostly like writers, are. There's something about words. There's something about literature that kind of makes you see the world a little differently. So whatever you say or write, I think, is considered really progressive for people even reading it 200 years later. I don't know, there's just something so modern about it and so timeless about writing. Kind of like freezes the time, I think.
Yes, but seriously, I can't believe that this book was written 300 years ago and there's like 10 lead female characters in Three Musketeers, and each of them, they're not like the sexy lady that like is trying to seduce. Some of them are,
yeah,
but
my lady.
They're but they always have like goals. They have goals that they're trying to get to, and there's romance with them. I don't know how he did it. I'm so fucking impressed. Even today, male writers don't write for women.
No, exactly. That's so true. There was this scene that I even read it to you of Count of Monte Cristo of these two girls. These two girls were talking. I'm not gonna say like who they were, but it was just so progressive. Like I have no idea how he actually wrote these females' dialogue so well. Like men usually are not really good at writing women well, and women are not really good at writing realistic men. So the fact that this conversation was so good, and even to this day, I was like, these two women are just like us because they were the same age. And the conversation they had was so similar because they were talking about going to Italy and pursuing art. And we just talked about that as well. So it's like, I was so happy to read that part. It was so beautifully written. And I loved it, And it's like, go ahead.
I was going to complain. So there's a reason why it's so well written, though. Did you read about how many books this guy wrote? Alexandre Dumas?
No.
So apparently I wrote this down. He wrote 200 books in his lifetime. What does that even mean? He wrote 200 books.
Are you sure? Or including playwrights or just
I think, including plays, including like all this articles and such. But they said he wrote 100,000 pages. Oh. Okay? That doesn't even make sense. And I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. So he wrote, first of all, at that time, I don't think they had typewriters or anything. They're probably fucking writing it.
And it's so hard. You have to just put it in ink. And do it. And the paper was so expensive back then. So it was a luxury to write. You know, it wasn't just as common as now, you know.
Exactly. And the thing is, let's say he wasn't even editing, okay? Let's say he was just writing and every sentence he wrote was gold, magic, amazing. If he wrote 100,000, okay, and so he was 68 when he died. He was 21 when he started to like really focus on writing. So he had exactly 48 years, okay? In 48 years, do you know how many pages you have to write a day to get to 100,000?
How many?
2,083 pages a day.
What?
Okay. 2,000 pages a day. You can't even read 2,000 pages a day, let alone write. That means that he wrote 87 pages in an hour, which is like one page every 30 seconds, okay? So that's what makes me think
my God,
something suspicious is going on here. 2,000 pages a day? Are you fucked? So I read this, is that he worked with a lot of other authors who wrote, and he would edit and he would change things, and then he would take the book out under his own name, which is like, okay, super suspicious. But if he was making enough changes, then okay, that's fair. But it makes you think, all these super successful people, they did not do it alone. You know, they had a team of people behind them.
I'm glad you said that. That's what I realized when I was reading about his biography. The thing is, like, he didn't have that kind of like common education as we do, or like he didn't go to university or anything. So he always had that disadvantage. But he kind of like filled that gap in his career by I don't know, making connections with those elite literary people, you know? So he did actually have lots of mistresses and affairs and all that. And most of these women were actually like really elite writers or something like that. They were in the top like groups of that. And all the other men or people that he was in contact with also were like that. They were like writers mostly. They were I don't know, they were like in the cabinet or really famous people. They were royals and things like that. So he made an effort when he was really young, not that young, like our age, 20 years, I think, to kind of get into that circle of these people. He didn't go to university, but he did that. So it kind of makes me think that nobody can do it alone. Because I was thinking of like, maybe I shouldn't go to university, especially since it's like writing, you know? I can do it anywhere. But I really think that I have to be in an environment at least that there are these kind of people all around me to inspire me, to make me like, because he did actually, like Alexandre did actually write a book and publish it, and it sold 4 copies.
Yeah.
It sold 4 copies. What
That's
the
like,
hell?
imagine our podcast, like the first episode got like 20 views. That's more views than he sold his book.
So true. That's so true. And 4 people, not 14, not 40, the author of Three Musketeers, that there's so many adaptations about. This guy sold his first book.
And imagine 4, like, are you joking? One of them is probably Alexandre Dumas himself. One of them is his mom. One of them is his best friend. And, like, one of them is probably, like, his mentor or something.
Yeah.
Nobody read that book.
Exactly.
A whole book.
And I think that was what inspired him, or, like, made him go out of his comfort zone, or he was actually out of his comfort zone, but made him, like, really seek out these kind of people and go into this kind of environment, be around writers, authors, and kind of make a change.
But that's what we have to do. We have to find our people. And you know, he also wrote with a partner. All of his classics he wrote with Auguste Marquet.
There is this guy. Wow. How did they do that? His
literally what I read was exactly his name. Okay, Alexandre Dumas, super suspicious. He took that guy's name off of the books, but he was a historian, as I read, and he became an author. So he had this, like, great background in researching and that, and so he was doing so much of the work on these classics, and then only Alexander's name gets published. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So apparently after these two broke apart and they weren't working together anymore, neither of them wrote another good classic.
Oh! What?
That's crazy.
Oh, my God.
So partnerships, that's all it's about. And me and you keep bringing this up. It's like, okay, if one of us tried to start a podcast alone, there's no way it would have lasted. But in everything in life, you need partners.
Yes, that's so true. Especially, it's so much harder for people that were, like, brought up thinking that they have to do everything. They have to be, like, independent. They shouldn't, like, use the team's work and all that. It's very hard. Especially since we are, like, from a country or from, like, an educational system of Iran, for a note, that it kind of encourages people to always be on their own, like, not work in teams, and not learn about leadership and things like that. So it's very hard, yes. But we have to try it. Like, there is nothing you can do alone. I kind of thought that maybe, like, these writers and all these people that were really famous, at least these people were always secluded, always in the room, always doing that, and just writing. But no, it's not about that. Everybody has, like, connections. If they want to, like, be successful, they have to have connections. We have to learn teamwork.
It's good that we're starting to learn now. I'm happy about it.
Exactly.
Oh, you know what else I read? Apparently there's 200 movie and TV show adaptations of his works. I have only seen one, and that you recommended me with the Monte Cristo.
You're kidding. Okay, so last night I saw 2 of the Three Musketeers movies. Wow. One of them, let me tell you, one of them is the 2011 one, which has these really famous actors in it. It was crazy. I had never heard of this movie before with these actors. So there is Matthew.
Yeah, me neither.
Matthew McFadden, the Mr. Darcy. There is, okay, let me get it. Yeah, let me actually see it.
I love that guy.
It's just so good. Wait. So 2001. I'm just searching it up. So yeah, there is Orlando Bloom as Duke of Buckingham. There's Matthew McFadden. There's Luke Evans. Logan Lerman as D'Artagnan.
He had these basic premises, like, okay, a man is wronged and then he takes revenge. So simple idea, and I think that's why it really sticks with you, because even today, if something bad happens to you, you think, oh, I'm gonna get my fucking revenge. So then you'll always relate to that book. And same with Three Musketeers, where it's like, okay, 3 best friends who are all so good come together to do this task. So that'll always be exciting. It's like, that's the whole premises of Friends, the TV show, for example. All these where friends come together to do a certain thing. So I feel like if we want to be always remembered, we have to do these really basic human instinct ideas, and then, like, bring, of course, our own way of seeing the world.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, it's just incredible that the fact that I read it somewhere that even though Alessandre's stories and books are really famous, they went against historical accuracy, psychological accuracy, and like deep analysis. So he just wrote whatever he wanted without like caring about psychology, historical accuracy, and things like that, which kind of makes me think that. So I pay a lot of attention to the psychological aspect of it, and a lot of writers do as well. Like, we must do that if you want to make realistic characters, but he didn't care that much about it, but still his books are like this much loved and cared for. His novels are this famous.
What do you mean by psychological accuracy? Like, what kind of example?
Like, okay, do you know when I wanted to write this novel, when I wanted to first start it, I spent a lot of time, like two weeks, a month, just kind of like figuring out what kind of like psychological aspects these people had, like what were these characters' beliefs, what were their desires, what were, not only that, but so much deeper, like what happened in their childhood, what was their trauma, what happened to them to make them take these actions, these kind of things. And not only for the main character, but for every little character that was there, I had to do something like that. And this was something I was told to do, and something that I wanted to do, because I do like psychology myself. So, but apparently he didn't care that much about it. Like, he didn't spend that much time analyzing that, but still like made these beautiful characters and stories.
That's such a good point. I see. Because when you were writing, your book is very historical. And so I remember you saying, yeah, I know, maybe this is not how they talked at that time, but I need to get my first draft out and I'm doing my best that I can. And you were so right. That's exactly what you should do. That's exactly what this guy did. I'm sure he wasn't. Of course, if he wrote 100,000 pages, I'm sure he wasn't sitting in his room researching. Oh, did people say "my dear fellow" at that point? No, he would just say it. Actually, I love that. I love the phrase "my dear fellow." I think everyone should say that to each other. Oh, my dear fellow, or my good fellow. I love that.
Did you hear it in Three Musketeers audiobook? Or
in Count,
yeah?
Everyone uses it. It's crazy.
My dear fellow. All right,
they also say "mon Dieu" a lot, I guess, which means like "my God," but like every other line is, "Oh, my dear fellow, how could you say such a thing?" It's amazing.
But it's also been translated, so I really wanted.
You're right.
I really want to learn French just to read his novel in the original language. I bet it would be so much more beautiful.
That's so true. Yeah, like all these phrases they're saying, it's just a fake version. You're right. Well, we are learning French, so that's a good sign, right? Are you doing your Duolingo?
No. Don't remind me. Yeah.
We have to.
This guy had like this really crazy lifestyle, even though like even when he wasn't that rich and didn't have that much money, like he would just spend it on parties and going out, and he was just, even in his youth, like he didn't study that much, but he was like mostly about going hunting and going to these like balls or going there and doing adventures. And so that's why his books are mostly about that as well.
Yeah, it makes you realize even those are not a waste of time, because it was kind of like a research for his.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's two parts to writing. There's an input and an output. And you have to have enough input to get something out, If you don't have that, like, if you don't get resources or don't have any experiences outside of your house or your life, you're not going to be able to write that well. You're not going to be able to have good outputs. So just the fact that even if you think that, okay, I'm going on this vacation and I'm not writing anything, so I'm wasting my time and I'm procrastinating. Yeah. But I don't think that's the case. I think that you gain so much experience and lots of memories, and you get to write so much better. You met so many great people. You met so many interesting people, and you saw cities, sceneries, and things that you're going to definitely at one point write about it. And it just unconsciously makes an impact on you. So you don't even have to worry about it. Even when I'm reading, I'm like, okay, even though I'm not doing anything right now, I'm not writing, but I know that it unconsciously makes an impact on me. So when I'm writing, eventually, I will get inspiration from that writer or kind of like unconsciously write like her or him. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, I actually met someone who gave me a house to stay in. Yeah. And this woman, she's told me so many stories that are, like, give you chills about her life. Yeah. Yes. So, and to think, like, I probably would have never met her ever in my life if I hadn't come here and so many things.
Or the comedian one. Like, all these things are so many great stories. And the places that you went to. Exactly. Yeah, like, exactly. It's all about that. Just the input that you get. And yeah, so I was like, this guy has been doing these things and not studying, but look at how it kind of made a huge difference in his writing. So yeah. So he did get his first job, I think, as a clerk because of his beautiful handwriting.
Yeah.
Just because of that. How cool
you could get a job as a clerk because of your beautiful handwriting.
My handwriting is not that good in English, but in Persian, it's so beautiful. When I was in, what was it called? When I was in a school in Iran, all the teachers would make me write for them anything that was like written on the board or anything like that. I was the one that they would say, okay, go ahead and write something for us. Yeah. But yeah, it's so cool because, but even though he did get the job, he would get made fun of by the other clerks and things like that were there. They would make fun of his hair. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of like that.
But he was 21 and he could have, I read he could have gone into like the aristocracy route because of his dad.
But he didn't.
He didn't. He chose to come to the city and work instead of just like, foo-foo, okay, I'm going to party and I'm going to dress up. And no, he went and made his own way into the world. Amazing.
He did that actually because of his father, I think. Because he did go work for like the royals, his father was a Republican. He worked for Napoleon. And if he did go work for the royals, he would go against his father's like wishes and beliefs and all that, which was a great deal in that time too, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of like
in terms of the two movies that you watched, where would you place them compared to the Count of Monte Cristo movie that we watched together?
Well, I kind of think that the Count of Monte Cristo's movie was, even though it was so deficient, it was much closer to the original than the other two. Yeah.
And this book literally changed the ending. Like it had so many.
Exactly. Movie. That's what I'm saying. The drastic changes that they made in the Three Musketeers is just not compared to the Three Musketeers movie. Was just not compared to the movie of Count of Monte Cristo. We watched it together. Actually, we watched the movie Count of Monte Cristo together. But they
that was so fun.
It was so like, good.
Sure. Yes. Was it cringy sometimes? Yes.
Yes.
Was it funny when it was not supposed to be? Yeah. Yeah. Especially when that guy, especially when beautiful blue-eyed Monty, who supposedly is brown-eyed in the book. So why they do that? But he's like, oh, why did you arrest me? And he's in prison, like crying, and we're just laughing.
Dramatic.
So
the acting was like that. Yeah, it's kind of like. He had this, like, I don't know, Bollywood kind of acting. Can you hear that? A little bit. Yeah, but the way that he was saying that exactly was so dramatic.
But the best part, wouldn't you say the best part is when they had the party and then he comes in the balloon and like he comes in, he throws his coat and then he leaves. Yeah, that was just so good.
What did he say? Welcome or something like that, and then he just
went. Yes. Hello. Oh, sexy.
So dramatic. Okay, I would say I'm going to expose you. You were the one that actually rooted for the bad guy at first. Yes. What was his name? Count of Montego.
Montego. But
Montego.
Fernand, the thing is, I had not read the book at that point, and I was just like, this guy has so much potential. He could do great in life. And I was hoping for the best. And the actor was like a hot guy. So I was like, please, I hope you do better. And then he just kept getting worse and worse. And his teeth got crooked by the end of the movie. I was like, okay, I'm not interested.
Yes, exactly. It was so cool. Like, I was just like, what are you doing? Why are you rooting for this guy? But the most important part was that we were at the lake. So it was especially really good. And so, like, we were in the character, I feel like. We were in the movie. There were some islands there. And when we were on the boat and we were rowing, we kind of thought about, like, us being the Count of Monte Cristo, going to the island of Monte Cristo, finding the treasure, the hidden treasures. And
do you remember that part in the movie where he goes into the cave and, like, the water... The treasure is all at the bottom of the lake. So he swims down like 5 meters, and he's still like holding his breath. Yes. He unlocks the chest, like he opens it, starts counting, and this has been like 3 minutes underwater. His eyes are wide open, like looking under fucking water. And then cut to like every single crate, like these 100-kilogram crates are all out of the water. And then Anna, you're like, actually in the book it wasn't even in the water. Why did they do that? Like, it creates such an unrealistic part.
Very unrealistic. Like, why would you do that? And we went swimming.
Yeah.
And we even went swimming that day, and we couldn't even we were drowning ourselves. Like, how did you like
the water is like touching our feet and we're screaming and we can't open our eyes, and this guy swam all the way. Like, I'm just trying to imagine, how could you possibly carry something that's heavier than you and swim it up?
Treasure, bugs.
That's impossible. It's so stupid.
You gotta get a lift truck or something like that. How would you do this? Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. And it wasn't even in the book. Like, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
It was kind of different. There was no water.
Stupid. But it was pretty, sure. It was like the water was glowing, I understand, maybe. But I don't know. The director of that movie actually has directed so many of these like historical adaptations. Oh, so good for him, I guess. Yes.
But the Count, when he comes back, like, it's dashing, young. He's no longer young, but dashing man, yes. Very seductive. So good.
Anna was telling me about like her ideal man, and surprise, it was exactly describing this Count of Monte Cristo, especially the actor. And I was like, okay.
Well, the actor
blue eyes.
No, I said green. I want green.
Green eyes, yeah.
He had blue eyes.
Rich. Yeah. Reads books. Smart. I was like, okay, that's Count.
I know, right? Just he has this attractiveness to him that just lures you in. Even the actor, even though the character wasn't that like good portrayed in the movie, even though it was good.
He had a beautiful beard, I'll be honest. When he comes back, whew.
Oh, there's actually no beard. There's like
what?
Just this goatee.
Oh, goatee. You're right.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know the terms for beard and things, but anyway, but they changed everything. Like, he just gets the revenge really fast, and you don't even know what happened suddenly to all these people. And what is it called? Danglars plays a really small role. He's not even there.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same. Like, he doesn't take the revenge the way that they showed in the movie.
Yeah, it's and so they even like choked Danglars, but in the book he just left Danglars like with no money. But like, why did they add this detail of you choking him? There's no point. And they threw him in the water. You know?
Yeah, and there's so many things like these three people, Villefort and Danglars and Count of Morcerf, which is Mondego. Yeah, he changed his name.
Morcerf.
In
the audiobook, they're like Morcerf, I think.
Oh, Morcerf. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
I can't forgive you ever. How dare you? It's fucked up.
Yeah. Okay, so these three people are their lives are so tangled into each other that it's just incredible. Like, these people have their own world and they just live around each other, and they're just so interconnected. Everything is so interconnected and so complicated that at times I have to just sit back and think, like, okay, this person has affair with this person, and this one is like that. It's like so crazy. And the revenge beforehand, before I even read the revenge plan, I thought it would be a lot more detailed and a lot worse would happen to these people. But it was kind of like just, and it wasn't like that crazy of a thing that happened to them. Like, compared to...
Yeah, it was never like just I'm gonna kill you. It was like, okay, I will show the world all the wrong things that you did, and so then you will get the justice that you deserve.
It's kind of like he didn't want to kill them, of course, because he wanted a really long torture for them, you know, just like he experienced. But the severity of what he experienced was so great that it just couldn't compare to whatever these three people experienced after. Like, it could not compare to them.
One of them also made millions at the Monte, on Monte Island. So I feel like he deserved, like, the 14 years of prison, and then you make millions.
And then 10 years just planning.
10 years planning, and he learned everything. He learned, like, economics, math, reading, science, everything.
He did, and he also learned how to defend himself. He learned how to... In one part of the book, he actually says that I learned how to make myself watch suffering and not kind of like flinch or like turn away. Like, actually watch it without remorse.
Oh.
Which is one of the things that he actually does when he first meets Albert. They go and watch an execution.
Exactly.
This was apparently common. Now you go to New York to watch shows. People back then went to watch, like, execution.
That part actually gave me chills. Like, okay, imagine you're about to die. This is the worst thing that has ever happened in your life. They're gonna kill you, and you're begging for mercy. You're like, please, please, let me live. 20,000 people were watching, saying, kill him, kill him.
And they bought tickets. They bought tickets to watch you die.
That's so scary. Like, even if one person says something mean to me, like if they say you're stupid or like don't be here, I'll think about that forever. And imagine 20 people looking at you and saying you should die.
Yeah.
That's so scary. That's so bad. Like, that's the last memory you have on this earth before you get killed. And this is not even fake. This is a true thing that he's just writing about.
Yes. These things really happened back then. And yeah, exactly. Like, this person, but okay, here's what I kind of find unrealistic. Of course, characters change and all that, but after he does get the revenge, he kind of like gets this doubt and this thing that he feels like, okay, was it worth it really? But the character that he had become to that point, that was capable of taking that kind of revenge, I don't think that character would have any kind of remorse, even for the slightest moment, because like you should have like seen or watched it. What is it called? When you read the book, it's like he just doesn't feel any of these things. Like, he doesn't feel remorse for that. He's just so beyond this. And the fact that...
You know what
oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. It reminds me of Little Women, where Joe is this kind of character all throughout who doesn't want to get married, who's all about work. And then at the end, she gets married.
Oh,
and that was all because, like, somebody told the writer, Louisa May Alcott, to have her marry. So I wonder if this was, like, that kind of situation where, because it was serialized, or, it was serialized, so maybe, like, the last book, somebody's like, Alexandre, by the way, why doesn't he feel any remorse? At the end, I think you should have him feel remorse. And maybe he just added that.
But it is kind of like natural too, because when you get to your goal, you kind of think back and you kind of forget the sufferings and the things that made you actually be able to reach your goal, you know?
That's true.
It's really natural, because it happened to me too a lot of times. When I finally reached the goal, I'm like, was it really worth it? Like, was it really worth all this stuff? And then I have to like convince myself that, yeah, it is worth it. So I go and see, I don't know, the watch memories that I had back then, like some photos, some videos, or some things that I wrote at the time, my journals, to remind myself that, okay, yes, I did really suffer a lot, so I have to be thankful and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it was actually really good, because at the end, when he does feel a little remorse for what he did, he goes back to the prison that he was in, and he kind of like gets reminded of what he went through. Mm-hmm. And it just, this kind of like wound gets open again for him. So he's like, okay, I did good that I did this thing to these people. So they made a huge change at the end of the Count of Monte Cristo movie. Why did they do that, I wonder?
What? Yeah, seriously.
He got back with Mercedes, and Albert was his son. Like, what?
Yeah, and then he killed Montego in a duel. So every single big thing that happened, they changed it. And it's not like because it's not like even him killing Montego is like, okay, still at the end of the day he dies, so sure, maybe you choose to kill him. But the fact that they changed the plot with like who this guy's dad is, and also who he ends up marrying, why? What's the reason? They could have just flown away.
Exactly. He doesn't even get back with Mercedes. He gets back with, not get back, but he's with Heidi, a girl, a princess, actually, a Turkish princess, I think. That was.
Wait, I thought she was a slave.
He's a slave, but previously he was the daughter of a king or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, like everything changed. At the end, like the last scene of the book is the fact that Maximilian is reading this letter of Monte Cristo, and they're just sailing away. Monte Cristo and Heidi are sailing away. Like, that's it.
Oh, and actually...
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is such a good segue, because I wrote down one of the quotes that is in the book, and it's about Maximilian, and it's about... So Count is giving advice, and of course you want to listen to Count's advice because he's gone through it all. He says, "Life is a storm, my young friend. You will bask in the sunlight one moment, be shattered on the rocks the next. What makes you a man is what you do when that storm comes. You must look into that storm and shout as you did in Rome. Do your worst, for I will do mine. Then the fates will know you as we know you." That's so good. If you have a big problem in your life, instead of just saying, "Oh, fuck, what do I do? I'm scared," you say, "Do your worst. I'm ready. I'm going to do my worst." Yes. You should put this on your wall and think about it. Right now, we were having fucking trouble with the audio. And I was just like, do your worst. We got this. And we did. It's fixed now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No! Wait. It's not recording.
So, also, the last quote that Count of Monte Cristo has, that an advice that he gives to Maximilian is wait and hope. These two words that even Valentine also talks about it. Says that, didn't you just read what Monte Cristo, the Count, told you? You have to wait and hope. That's basically like the lesson of the book. Wait and hope. Like, this guy was imprisoned for all these years and was there, and he had to wait for like 14, 13 years there in this really small cell that didn't have any light, any windows, anything. And he was treated like an animal there. And he was there, and then he actually escapes and finds fortune and all that, and then he hopes for the best, you know, trying to, when he's in prison, and also after that, he plans this whole thing to not to just take revenge for himself to feel satisfied, but also he feels like it's an obligation for him to bring like the God's justice sort of to this circle of people, to this side of the world. And I think that if he wasn't there, like, how could justice actually work if he didn't take revenge? You know?
Yes, that's what I read somewhere, where they said one of the main themes of the book is the limits of human justice. Where, yeah, exactly. If he was not there, then these people would have just lived with the terrible things that they did and would have had a great time and would have been rich.
Yes.
But this one man had to take his own justice.
Do you think we have the right as humans to play the justice?
That's the thing. Personally, and I think maybe it's because I'm a narcissist, I just think, yeah, if somebody does something bad to you, go beat them up and get what you deserve. But then you realize how tricky that gets when, okay, for example, when I'm driving, a lot of people in New York jump in the street and I almost hit them, okay? And I think, fuck you. Oh, I stopped recording again.
Oh, no.
What could be the reason this time?
We tried our best. Seriously.
We tried our best. Countries apart, thousands of kilometers apart. But there will be more time to talk about Alexandre Dumas. He's written a memoir, if I'm not wrong. So maybe we'll read that memoir and talk about it.
Yes.
He's written 200 books. So there's going to be lots of stuff to read, I feel.
Yes, exactly. And he's such a great inspiration. So I just feel like I want to start playwriting or maybe screenwriting and doing that on the side as well. And write 200 books.
Exactly. Find a partner, force your partner to write, and then put your name on there and sell it.
Exactly. And you know, it's like all about getting other people's skills and their knowledge as well. So the partner knew about history, and he used that to write history novels and fantasy. So that's kind of like, yeah, you have to see what advantages other people have as well and kind of work together with that. That's the point. So, yes, very interesting stuff.
Good stuff. Yes. Go ahead.
He's such a great guy. So he's so interesting, so adventurous. And he also, just as a note, he died in poverty and in bankruptcy. But at least he lived a really good life, you know. He didn't have any regrets.
I guess that makes you think, though. Like, if he didn't live such a good life, maybe he could have saved up and then done better as an old person.
He was much more spontaneous, I think.
Yeah.
That's why. So,
makes you think. You never know how your life is going to go. Just try and enjoy it, I guess.
He had many affairs. He had 2 sons, I think, or 2 kids from 2 different women. And then married someone else. And then also one of his sons was also named Alexandre Dumas.
Yeah.
So
he was a famous author. Yeah.
Yes, you too. What the hell is going on? Yeah. How narcissistic, putting your name on the children.
Wasn't his dad's name also Alexandre Dumas?
I think so. Yeah, something of the sort.
That's amazing.
Very good, yeah. So,
like, imagine you're just like, oh, my name is Anna. This is my daughter, Anna. Like, really? You couldn't choose. Exactly. You couldn't choose any other name. Yeah. But anyway, I know you have to get out of this room as well. So, unfortunately, this is goodbye. But I'm going to bring more tales from my trip of New York. There's so many things. I didn't even mention like 2%. There, I saw a deer. I hang out with so many deers. There's lots.
What? In New York?
In New York. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So exciting. Can't wait. These are like, you're exactly like this writer that we're talking about. You're just traveling and having adventures of your own, and that's what it's about. Yeah,
I'm so glad you forced me, because day before coming, me and you were traveling, kind of, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if I should go, and you said, do it. Best decision ever. Everyone, you should go travel. Not just me and Anna. Go travel. Anywhere. Go. Could be close, far away. Find a partner to write with, find a partner to do anything with, and don't screw them over, because they went to court, as you know. Don't let that happen.
Yes, exactly. So very good. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for
bearing with us. We had like 20 million technical difficulties today. But it'll come together. It just cut out again. Okay, well, that's it. It's not going to come back. But the last few seconds will be silent. I mean, with no video.
It was so exciting to talk about this fantastic writer, Alexandre Dumas, as they call him.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's just incredible. And go read his stuff. Go read The Count of Monte Cristo. You will not regret it. Definitely not. And read The Three Musketeers. Go watch the adaptations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get a drink. And it's funny.
Too, yes.
All right. Just wish us luck. Wish us luck that we could sync up these audios and the video. Because I'm concerned. It'll be okay, though.
Okay, we'll thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
All right.
I'm gonna connect my headphones.
I don't even hear you.
You don't hear me?
I can't
Hello?
hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. This should be good for the next 30 minutes, I hope. Can you hear me?
I can't. Oh my god.
I know why it's happening.
What's going on?
Should I delete DaVinci? Takes 3 gigabytes.
Yeah, sure. You don't use
it. I'll do it. Exactly. Do you wanna? We can wrap it up with no audio, huh? Like
video.
No video. Yeah.